I came home late from work that Tuesday, my feet aching and my mind exhausted. I'd been planning our anniversary dinner for weeks, picking up Marcus's favorite wine and the steaks he loved. But when I opened the door, I heard laughter. Not his usual laugh. Shared laugh. I walked into my dining room and froze. Marcus sat at the head of our table with Ariana beside him, my best friend. They were eating my food, drinking my wine, and neither looked surprised to see me. Marcus pushed a folder across the table without standing up. "Sign it," he said flatly. "Sign what?" My voice came out smaller than I wanted. "The divorce papers. I'm marrying Ariana." The words didn't make sense at first. My brain couldn't process them. Ariana finally looked at me, but not with guilt. With pity. Like I was something broken she'd stepped around. "Marcus, please," I whispered. "Don't beg," he said, his voice cold. "You're dead weight, Liana. I deserve someone on my level. Someone who actually matters." My hand shook so badly the pen fell when I tried to pick it up. That's when Ariana spoke. "I'll explain to the board next week why you won't be around anymore." The board. My blood went cold. They thought they knew everything about my life. They had no idea who I actually was. I walked out of that house in a daze. My hands were still shaking. My throat burned with words I couldn't say. But instead of going to a friend's place or a hotel, I drove across the city to a building Marcus had never seen. The security guard nodded as I approached. "Good evening, Ms. Brooks." I stepped into the marble lobby and took the private elevator. No buttons to press. It only went to one floor. Top. When the doors opened, I walked into my real office. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the entire city. A desk made of dark wood with my name engraved on a small brass plate underneath. Not Liana Chin. Liana Brooks. Owner. I wasn't an employee anywhere. I was the silent owner of Vexen Industries, a company worth $300 million. The same company where Ariana worked. The same company she thought she understood. I sat down in my chair and opened my laptop. For the first time all night I felt like I could breathe. They wanted to destroy me. They had no idea I'd been holding all the power the entire time. The next morning, an email appeared in my private inbox. It was from the board's executive committee. Subject line: Ariana Foster. Promotion approval needed. I opened it slowly. They wanted to promote Ariana to Senior Director of Strategic Operations. Position with serious authority. The kind that came with a corner office, a staff of 12, and direct access to company finances. The email noted that all promotions at this level required approval from the owner. Me. I stared at the screen for a long time. Part of me wanted to deny it immediately. To watch her dreams collapse the way mine had. But something stopped me. If I denied it now, she'd know something was wrong. She'd start asking questions. Instead, I typed a simple response. Proceed with promotion. Do not notify candidate of ownership approval process. I wanted Ariana comfortable, confident, completely blind to what was coming. Let her think she'd earned this on her own. Let her celebrate. The higher she climbed, the harder she'd fall. Marcus wasted no time celebrating his new life. By Friday, his social media was full of photos. Him and Ariana at expensive restaurants. A new apartment with a view. A black luxury car I knew he couldn't afford. Ariana posted a photo of them holding champagne glasses with the caption, "Next chapter begins now." I stared at that photo for a long time. Then I made a phone call to my private accountant. The joint account with Marcus Chen. Freeze it. Immediately. Immediately. Also flag his credit cards for irregular activity. Nothing illegal. Just standard security reviews that take weeks to resolve. 2 days later, Marcus's car payment bounced. Then his credit card declined at dinner. Then the joint account he'd been using showed zero access. He posted a confused story about his bank malfunctioning. He had no idea that with one phone call, I'd locked him out of everything we'd built together. Everything that had actually been mine all along. And this was just the beginning. While Marcus scrambled to fix his financial problems, I did something I should have done years ago. I hired a private investigator. What he found made my stomach turn. Marcus had gambling debts. $30,000 spread across 3 different casinos. Unpaid taxes going back 2 years. Loans from shady lenders with interest rates that would destroy him. Ariana had no idea what she was inheriting. She thought she was marrying up. She was actually marrying into financial ruin. I packaged all the documents into a clean folder. Bank statements, loan agreements, collections notices. Then I mailed them to Ariana's apartment. No return address. No note. Just the truth about the man she'd stolen from me. I imagined her opening that package. Her confident smile fading. Her perfect future cracking apart. 3 days later, her social media went quiet. No more champagne photos. No more celebration posts. Just silence. I knew she'd found the documents. And I knew her world was starting to shake. It happened faster than I expected. 4 days after the package arrived, I was walking past a coffee shop when I heard raised voices. I looked through the window and saw them. Marcus and Ariana, sitting in a corner booth. Ariana was holding papers and her face was red. Marcus was gesturing wildly, clearly trying to defend himself. I couldn't hear the exact words, but I could see the fight. Her pointing at documents. Him shaking his head. Her standing up. Him grabbing her arm. Her pulling away. I watched from across the street as Ariana stormed out of the coffee shop, leaving Marcus sitting alone. He put his head in his hands. The confident man who'd called me deadweight now looked small and desperate. Their relationship, the one they'd destroyed my marriage for, was already rotting from the inside. And I hadn't even started my real plan yet. This was just them destroying each other naturally. I walked away smiling. The phone call came at midnight 2 weeks later. My security company. Ms. Brooks, there's a situation at the Vexen building. A man named Marcus Chen forced his way into the lobby. He's demanding to speak with whoever is ruining his life. I pulled up the security camera feed on my laptop. There was Marcus in the marble lobby, surrounded by 3 security guards. His shirt was wrinkled, his hair messy. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. He's getting aggressive, the security chief said. Should we call the police? Hold him there for now. I'm watching. On screen, Marcus was yelling at the receptionist. Someone in this building is destroying me. I know it. Tell them to come down here and face me like a man. Man. He assumed his enemy was male. He was 30 floors below me right now, screaming at strangers. He had no idea that the person he was looking for was sitting in silk pajamas, drinking tea, watching him fall apart in real time. Call the police, I said quietly. Have him removed and banned from the property. I watched as officers arrived. Watched as Marcus was escorted out, still yelling. I whispered to my empty office. You ruined your own life. Ariana walked into Vexen's main conference room expecting applause. She'd been told there would be an announcement about her promotion. She wore a new designer suit. Her hair was perfect. She'd even prepared a small speech. Instead, the board members looked uncomfortable. The head of HR cleared her throat. Ariana, we need to discuss your recent promotion approval. Of course. Ariana smiled brightly. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Actually, the promotion has been redirected to another candidate. I watched through the one-way glass as Ariana's smile disappeared. What? But I was already approved. I was told. The final decision came from ownership level. They felt another candidate was better suited for the strategic role. Who? Ariana demanded. That's confidential. I watched her face cycle through emotions. Confusion, anger, fear. She'd been so certain this promotion was hers. She'd probably already told people. Probably already made plans. Now she sat in that conference room, powerless and humiliated. The same way she'd made me feel at my own dinner table. Her hands gripped the armrests. I want to know who made this decision. That information isn't available to your level. She stood up sharply. This is wrong. But she couldn't do anything about it. And we both knew it. Ariana started digging. I knew she would. She spent hours in the employee database, searching for clues about company ownership. Every search hit a wall. Protected identity. Confidential access only. Board-level clearance required. She tried asking her manager. He didn't know. She tried asking colleagues. No one knew. The company's ownership structure was hidden behind layers of legal protection I'd built specifically to stay invisible. I watched her through security cameras, spending her lunch breaks frantically searching. Her confident walk had changed. Now she looked over her shoulder, checked her phone constantly, started keeping her office door closed. The not knowing was eating her alive. Who had this much power? Who had blocked her promotion? Why couldn't she find any information? Paranoia had sharp teeth. And I just set it loose on Ariana. The email appeared in my private inbox late Thursday night. Subject: You should know about Ariana Foster. The sender was someone named Evan Price, a financial analyst in our auditing department. I opened it carefully. Ms. Brooks, I don't know if anyone has told you this, but Ariana Foster has a history of sabotaging coworkers. I've watched her take credit for other people's work, manipulate HR complaints to get people fired, and lie in reports to make herself look better. I've been documenting it for 2 years. If you ever wanted the truth about who she really is, I have receipts. All I want is for the right thing to be done. He included file attachments, performance reviews she'd falsified, emails where she'd stolen ideas, recordings of her talking badly about coworkers to managers. My hands were shaking as I read through everything. This wasn't just about me and Marcus. Ariana had been doing this for years. To innocent people who'd done nothing to her. I wrote back immediately. Meet me tomorrow. 6 p.m. Top floor. Private elevator only. Evan was younger than I expected. Maybe 28. Nervous but determined. He sat across from my desk holding a tablet full of evidence. Why are you helping me? He asked. Because 3 years ago, Ariana got my best friend fired. He was gay and she told HR he made her uncomfortable. It was a complete lie. He lost his job, his reputation, everything. I couldn't prove it then. But I never forgot. I looked through his files. They were detailed, organized. Fleming. If I use this information, she'll know someone leaked it. I don't care anymore. She's hurt too many people. I made a decision that night. I had Evan send everything anonymously to a business ethics website. Not from Vexen's servers. From an encrypted account that couldn't be traced. 2 days later the article went live. Culture of sabotage. One employee's decade of workplace manipulation. No names. But enough details that people who worked with Ariana would recognize her immediately. By Monday morning, HR had called her in for questioning. I watched her walk into that office, her face pale. She was screaming at them before the door even closed. Someone is targeting me. This is a setup. But she had no proof. Because I never left fingerprints. Marcus tried calling Ariana 37 times over 3 days. I knew because I'd quietly accessed his phone records through legal channels. She wasn't answering. His social media posts became desperate. Baby, please talk to me. We can fix this. But Ariana was pulling away. Her money was disappearing. Her job was in danger. Her reputation was being shredded. She'd gambled everything on Marcus and lost. Now she wanted nothing to do with him. Marcus couldn't handle it. He'd never been the one left behind. He'd always been the one who left. So he did something predictable and pathetic. He came looking for me. The text message appeared late Wednesday night. Liana, please. I need to talk to you. I know I messed up. Please give me a chance to explain. I stared at that message for a long time. Part of me wanted to ignore him forever. But another part wanted to see him beg. Wanted to hear him admit what he'd done. So I wrote back. Fine. Tomorrow. 7 p.m. Come alone. Marcus wasn't used to losing control. And I was about to take the last piece he had left. His pride. Marcus showed up at my old apartment right on time. I'd kept the place even though I didn't live there anymore. It felt safer than letting him know where I really lived now. He looked terrible. Unshaven. Dark circles under his eyes. Confident man who'd handed me divorce papers was gone. This Marcus looked broken. Liana, he started, his voice cracking. I made a mistake. The biggest mistake of my life. I sat in the chair across from him. Silent. Waiting. Ariana wasn't who I thought she was. And I didn't realize what I had with you until I lost it. I almost laughed. Keep talking. So he did. For 20 minutes, Marcus confessed everything. How he'd been mocking me behind my back for years. How the affair started 6 months before the divorce. How he'd used my stability while planning his exit. How Ariana had convinced him I was holding him back. I recorded every single word on my phone hidden in my pocket. This wasn't reconciliation. This was evidence. When he finally stopped talking, I looked at him calmly. You came here expecting forgiveness. I came here hoping, he whispered. Hope somewhere else. I stood up. We're done. Forever. His face crumpled. But I walked into the bedroom and locked the door. I had what I needed. Ariana tried to transfer money from her savings account Tuesday morning. The transaction failed. She tried again. Denied. She called the bank, her voice shaking. There's a flag on your account. Suspected fraudulent activity. Everything is frozen pending investigation. Fraudulent. I haven't done anything fraudulent. The flag was triggered by an external financial report. You'll need to submit documentation to our fraud department. The process takes 6 to 8 weeks. Ariana hung up and immediately called Marcus. But his phone was disconnected. Bill not paid. She tried her investment accounts. Also frozen. Her credit cards maxed out. Every financial door suddenly locked. She sat in her apartment that night, surrounded by expensive furniture she could no longer afford. She suspected Marcus had done something. Marcus blamed the banks. Neither of them realized the financial report had been carefully written by Evan under my direction. Every flag was legal. Every freeze was justified. And all of it traced back to Marcus's debts that Ariana had become tangled in. I didn't steal from her. I just made sure the truth about her finances came to light all at once. Sometimes destruction doesn't require a weapon. Sometimes it just requires transparency. The text message arrived on Ariana's phone at 2 a.m. Unknown number. The owner knows what you stole. Ariana's entire body went cold. She sat up in bed, staring at her phone screen. What she'd stolen. Years ago, before Vexen, Ariana had worked for a tech startup. When she left, she'd taken proprietary client data with her. Used it to land her job at Vexen by claiming the contacts as her own network. It was theft. Corporate espionage. If anyone found out, she wouldn't just be fired. She could be prosecuted. Her hands shook as she typed back. Who is this? No response. She waited 15 minutes. Nothing. She tried calling the number. Disconnected. Ariana got out of bed and started pacing. The owner. Who was the owner of Vexen? Why couldn't she find any information? And how did they know about something she'd done 3 years ago? She ended up on her bathroom floor at 4 a.m., crying so hard she couldn't breathe. Everything she'd built was crumbling. And she had no idea who was pulling the strings. But somewhere in her panic, she must have known. The timing was too perfect. The revenge too precise. This wasn't random. This was personal. I met with Evan again the following week. Not as his boss. As something closer to a friend. How are you holding up? He asked gently. I surprised myself by being honest. I thought I'd feel more satisfied. But mostly I just feel tired. Revenge doesn't heal, Evan said quietly. I learned that after my friend lost his job. I wanted Ariana destroyed. But when it started happening, I just felt empty. I told him about Marcus. About the years I'd spent thinking I wasn't enough, smart enough, successful enough, pretty enough. He made me believe I was lucky he stayed, I admitted. That I should be grateful for the scraps of attention he gave me. Evan listened without interrupting. My friend felt the same way after Ariana got him fired. Like he'd deserved it somehow. It took him 2 years to realize he'd been manipulated. We sat in comfortable silence. Then Evan said something that changed everything. You know what the best revenge actually is? Not destroying them. It's becoming so successful they can't even touch your life anymore. I thought about that for a long time. Maybe he was right. Maybe I'd already won just by being who I actually was. But I wasn't done yet. The email went out Friday morning to both Ariana and Marcus. Subject, mandatory board meeting. Monday, 10 a.m. Attendance required. Marcus called my old number immediately. I didn't answer. Ariana tried emailing HR. They responded with a template. Please attend as requested. Neither of them knew what the meeting was about. Neither of them knew I'd be there. They showed up separately. Marcus in a cheap suit that didn't fit right. Ariana in an outfit that screamed desperation. They sat on opposite sides of the conference room, not looking at each other. The board members filed in. Then the lawyers. And HR. Finally, the head of the board stood. We're here to discuss serious allegations of fraud, misconduct, and ethical violations involving both of you. A screen lit up behind him. Marcus's gambling debts. Ariana's stolen data. Financial manipulation. False reports. And then, the recording of Marcus's confession from my apartment. His voice filled the room. I'd been mocking her for years. The affair started 6 months before. I used her stability while planning my exit. Ariana's face went white. Marcus looked like he might throw up. They'd thought they were coming to a meeting. They'd walked into an execution. The head of the board looked tired. Before we proceed, there's someone you both need to meet. He pressed a button on the conference phone. We're ready. The double doors at the end of the room opened. I walked in wearing a gray suit and heels that clicked on the marble floor. Every person in the room turned to look at me. Except Ariana and Marcus. They were staring straight ahead, frozen. This is Liana Brooks, the board head announced. The owner of Vexen Industries. Ariana's head snapped toward me so fast I heard her neck crack. Her mouth opened but no sound came out. Marcus gripped the arms of his chair. His knuckles white. I walked to the head of the table and stood there, looking down at both of them. You thought I was nothing, I said quietly. A housewife. Deadweight. Someone who didn't matter. Ariana started crying. Marcus looked like he might pass out. But the truth is, you replaced me with someone who works for me. You mocked me while living off my money. You destroyed our marriage while I owned everything you thought you wanted. My voice didn't shake. My hands didn't tremble. For the first time in months I felt completely calm. You wanted someone on your level, Marcus. Congratulations. You got exactly what you deserved. The board didn't waste time. Ariana Foster, your employment with Vexen Industries is terminated effective immediately. You have 30 minutes to collect personal items. Security will escort you from the building. Ariana tried to speak, but nothing came out except a sob. 2 security officers appeared at her sides. She looked at me one last time, her face streaked with tears and ruined makeup. Felt nothing. She was walked out like a criminal. The doors closed behind her. Then the board turned to Marcus. Mr. Chen, while you're not an employee here, we want you to understand that legal action may follow regarding your fraudulent use of joint accounts and assets. Marcus finally found his voice. Liana, please. We can talk about this. I made mistakes, but we can fix. No, I interrupted. We can't. I walked closer to him, my heels clicking on the floor. You lost your chance the day you thought I needed you. He reached for my hand, pulled back. You never deserved me, Marcus. And it took you destroying me to realize that. The lawyers handed him a folder full of documents. Divorce papers, asset division, debt responsibility. All of it legally airtight. Marcus left that room looking 10 years older. And I stayed standing, finally free. By Tuesday afternoon, the story was everywhere. Not because I leaked it. Because stories like this don't stay quiet. Vexen issued a simple public statement. Vexen Industries maintains the highest ethical standards in all personnel matters. Recent leadership changes reflect our commitment to integrity and transparency. No names, no details. But the business community was small. Within hours, whispers spread on professional networks. Screenshots of Ariana's LinkedIn suddenly disappearing. Stories about Marcus's debts. Speculation about the mysterious owner who'd taken them both down. Someone leaked photos of Ariana being escorted from the building. The comments were brutal. She got what she deserved. Imagine stealing your best friend's husband and her job at the same time. This is why karma exists. Marcus's real estate license was suspended pending investigation. His name became a cautionary tale. By Friday, Ariana's name was being used as a verb in business circles. Don't Ariana your co-workers. Their reputations burned faster than I'd imagined. And I never had to say a single word publicly. The voicemail came 2 weeks later. I almost deleted it without listening. But something made me press play. Ariana's voice, shaking and broken. Liana, I know you probably won't listen to this. I know I don't deserve for you to. But I need to say this anyway. She took a shuddering breath. I was jealous of you for years. Your kindness, your strength, the way people loved you without you even trying. I had to fight for everything and you just existed, and that was enough. Another pause. Crying. Marcus told me you were weak. That you were holding him back. I wanted to believe that because it made what we did seem okay. But he lied to both of us. And I was too stupid and jealous to see it. Her voice broke completely. I destroyed the only real friendship I ever had because I wanted what you had. And now I have nothing. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry. Not because I think it matters. But because it's true. The voicemail ended. I sat in my office for a long time staring at my phone. Then I deleted it. Some apologies come too late. Some bridges burn too completely to rebuild. And some people have to live with what they've done. Felt nothing. And that was okay. Marcus's life collapsed in stages. First, the eviction notice from his luxury apartment. He couldn't make rent without access to our joint accounts. Then his car was repossessed. Then his real estate firm closed after clients abandoned him. By March, he was living in a basement studio 40 minutes outside the city. His social media went dark except for occasional desperate posts. Looking for opportunities. Experienced real estate professional. References available. No one responded. His phone number changed 3 times. Probably couldn't pay the bills. I heard through mutual acquaintances that he'd applied for a job at a call center. They didn't hire him. Reputation concerns, they said. Marcus had gone from bragging about marrying someone on his level to being unemployable in his own field. And it had taken less than 4 months. He tried to contact me one last time. An email from a new address. Liana, I know I don't deserve your help, but I'm desperate. Please. For what we once had. I blocked the address without responding. What we once had was a lie. And I didn't owe lies anything. Especially not mercy. I was reviewing quarterly reports when Evan knocked on my office door. His face was serious. We have a problem. He handed me a file folder. Inside were emails I'd never seen before. Messages between Ariana and someone inside Vexen, feeding her personal information about me. Meeting schedules. Personal phone numbers. Details about my life I'd never shared publicly. The sender's email address made my stomach drop. My cousin. My own family member. How long has this been going on? I asked quietly. At least a year. Maybe longer. They've been setting you up, Liana. This wasn't just Ariana making moves. Someone wanted you isolated and vulnerable. I read through the messages, my hands shaking. She's weak. Marcus doesn't even respect her. Push him toward someone stronger and watch her fall apart. My cousin's words. My own blood. They'd orchestrated this because they wanted me out of Vexen. They wanted influence, power, control. And they'd used my marriage as a weapon. Closed the file slowly. Set up a meeting. Tonight. Just them and me. My cousin arrived at 8 p.m., walking into my office like nothing was wrong. Liana, I heard about the drama with Marcus. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. I didn't stand to greet them. Sit down. Their smile faltered. They sat. I slid the folder across my desk. I know everything. The emails. The information you fed Ariana. The way you convinced her I was weak and disposable. The color drained from their face. Liana, I can explain. You wanted me out of Vexen so you could take over. You used my best friend and my husband as weapons. You tried to destroy my life for money. They started crying. Real tears. I was desperate. You had everything and I had nothing. It wasn't fair. So you decided to ruin me. I didn't think it would go this far. I just wanted you distracted, not destroyed. I leaned forward. You have two choices. Confess publicly to what you did. Face the consequences like an adult. Or I release these emails myself and destroy you the way you tried to destroy me. They begged, pleaded, promised to do better. I didn't move. Choose now. They chose confession. 3 days later, they sent a public apology admitting to manipulation and corporate sabotage. Their reputation was ruined, just like they'd planned for mine. 6 months after that terrible dinner, I stood on my new apartment balcony. The city spread out below me, lights twinkling like fallen stars. Evan had been promoted to Director of Financial Ethics. He was building a department to prevent what happened to his friend from happening to anyone else. I'd launched a private network for women rebuilding after betrayal. Professional support, legal resources, financial planning. We had 200 members already. Ariana was working retail somewhere in another state. I heard she'd changed her name. Marcus was still looking for stable work. Still alone. My divorce was finalized 3 weeks ago. I kept everything that was actually mine, which was almost everything. I poured a glass of wine and looked at my reflection in the glass door. Not the woman Marcus had thrown away like garbage. Not the woman Ariana had betrayed without a second thought. But the woman who'd always existed underneath. The woman who'd owned a company while washing dishes. Who'd had power while being called powerless. Who'd survived being destroyed just long enough to prove she was indestructible. I raised my glass to the city. To survival. To becoming someone who didn't need revenge anymore because she'd already won just by existing. I was free. Finally completely free. And nothing had ever felt better.